Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass. Live in a living color here with you tonight, only on the graveyard. And tonight we painted black as it's Black Mirror Season 4. Episodes ranked and reviews by yours truly, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Very excited for tonight's show because this was an awesome season of television overall. Now, there were episodes I didn't like, and we'll get to those, but there were some of these that I would say are arguably some of the best of the series so far. Like, definitely some really good quality stuff on this season, and I think overall this is one of the better seasons for sure as a whole and as a round. Now, we, of course, as always, have brought in the tier maker of fun, the of course, S through F list of Black Mirror episodes, and we've saved it to scale since the last time. And funny enough, it's like an upside down Verizon bar almost. It's just the opposite way if you flipped it over. But one C in 3 seasons of television, we've only had one C, nothing below a C. Will tonight be the night where something falls below the C column? We will find out tonight only on the graveyard. Very excited to have you all in the house. So thank you so much for stopping by. Let's see what y'all have to say in the comments. We, of course, had Miss C in the chat. Ciao, Grande Graveyardian friends. I had an eye doctor's appointment, and my eyes got dilated. My vision is still a little blurry, so I probably won't be as active tonight in the chat. Well, I hope your eyes feel better, and I hope you feel better. And yeah, totally. Even if you want to listen to me as like a audio podcast tonight, I'll try to keep it down because I know the senses are not too fun when your eyes get dilated like that. So hope all is well, my friend, and happy belated birthday to Miss C. Everybody, shout out to Miss C. Give it up for Miss C. She just celebrated her birthday just a couple days ago. Slasher Fred is here. The internet, the not too final frontier. These are voyages of the Grande's graveyard. Its mission to review some of the best and worst horror movies. Slasher Fred, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's awesome. And you might just be mentioning my absolute favorite episode of the season. And it might just be my favorite episode of the show so far. I mean, I'm still leaning towards the season 2 premiere, the episode with Haley Atwell. I thought that was the best so far. And the Bee Gees, if I can't have you, oh, love that episode. But the USS Cowser, which is going to kick off season 4 and kick off the show tonight, I love that one too. That one's in running for my favorite episode of the show. Ding dong, the Tomlin's gone. Yes, very sad news out of Pittsburgh, of course, is that Mike Tomlin stepped down after 19 years of being the head coach. Tied Chuck Noll for the most amount of regular season wins in the history of the franchise. And I am gutted by the news. I think Mike Tomlin was the greatest coach that has ever lived and will ever live. And it is a damn shame, and I have nothing but respect for him. So, I mean, thank you to Coach Tomlin for all the great years and memories and wins and Super Bowl. And I have nothing but respect for Mike Tomlin. I'm sad as a Steelers fan. It was a really rough Monday night. It was a really rough kickoff to the week. But tonight on Grande's Graveyard, we'll celebrate with some Black Mirror and hopefully some more positive vibes only on the graveyard. We got John in the house, Haddonfield mascot. What's up, Grande? And chat, season 4 is a solid for sure. I'm with you. I really, for the most part, really like this season. And I would say like 2 or 3 of these I thought were all-time Black Mirror episodes. And like, I truly, I can't stress this enough. Every time someone has come up to me in the past to tell me, oh my God, Black Mirror is one of the best shows ever made. I initially scoffed. And this is, of course, before I saw the show. I initially scoffed. I was like, how great could it really be? How much TV have these people watched that come up to me and tell me these things? And I'll be honest, I was a doubter. I was like, I don't see how this show could be anywhere rivaling stuff like The Twilight Zone for me. And man, I gotta say, it really is. It is as close as you will ever get to it, and I think it's very quality. Like, listen, there's not every episode is great. I'll be the first and foremost one to tell you that. I think there are ones that suck, but man, when this show is good, when this show is clicking, when this show is on, I just truly don't know if there's a better show out there today. I mean, I love the Squid Game. I think that's a great show. I love this. I think this is fantastic as well. There are some other shows that I dabble in here and there. I'm much more of a film guy. Like, I'm much more, I dive into the era of Jess Franco from the 70s every now and again. That's sometimes all I'll do on a Friday night. People will be watching all these new shows, Fallout and Welcome to Derry and all these things. And I'm like, fuck you. I want to watch some Jess Franco movies that I haven't seen because there's over 200 of them. So I don't know. I'm just weird like that. But as far as modern day TV, I don't know if it gets any better than Black Mirror, personally. Very joyful news, Grande. This was my favorite Black Mirror at Pittsburgh. Yeah, I know. Pat doesn't like Mike Tomlin. Well, your loss. He was a great coach. But all right, without further ado, I cheers to the wonderful Grande's Graveyardians. Cheers to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. And we're going to get this show underway right now with season 4 debut. So cheers. Only the good stuff. I need some agua in my life. I had a really good shake today. I did a strawberry shake from All American. It was incredible. So I don't know, put me in a good mood, put me in a sugary mood, filled me up, and we're going to kick this son of a bitch off with the season 4 premiere. Of course, these dropped just days before the new year of 2018 at the time. So these are, of course, came out just a few days after Christmas in 2017. And this season started with, of course, season 4, episode number 1. I'm talking about the USS Callister. Brief plot synopsis. Captain Robert Daly presides over his crew with wisdom and courage, but a new recruit will soon discover nothing on his spaceship is what it seems. Yes, the USS Callister. Now this, I thought this was the best episode of the season. Like, what a great way to kick this thing off overall. And I was a little bit confused when it started, and I liked kind of how it started, where it opens up and it feels like you're watching a Star Trek parody. I mean, everything down to the shirts and the mannerisms and the ship and the presentation and the way that it's shot, the way that it looks, the scope of it, the way that the characters are talking and interacting with one another. It very much so feels like, what if we parodied the 2009 Star Trek and we did a Black Mirror episode of it? As this episode opens, and we're introduced to some really colorful actors, a lot of them that I knew, but the main one being Jesse Plemons. He's the captain of the ship, and he's totally riffing from Captain Kirk, aka William Shatner. There's something on the wing. Captain Kirk himself, and he's doing his best Captain Kirk impression as they're going on some space mission and discussing things. And basically, he makes this correct call, and they all praise him and hug him, and the women are kissing him, and he is El Champion. He's on cloud 9. He's here, and we're all here. He's living his moment. And then, of course, we snap out of that and we are into his everyday life, his reality. This opening scene was nothing but a simulated video game that he participates in every day when he gets home from his job. And what is his job, you might ask? He's a video game developer, and he's created this game that he lives in and spends a lot of his free time in when he gets home from the job. And we see the differences between the two in presentation. And this is what I thought was really brilliant. When we see Jesse Plemons in the video game, he's got a full head of hair. He's in great shape. He's captain. He's commander. Everyone respects him. Everyone listens to him. Everybody obeys and abides by what he says. And then, of course, in his everyday life, the hair is a bit thinner. The attitude is a bit weaker. No one obeys. No one abides. No one respects him despite what his title is. He may be their boss on paper, but it's only in quotations. They do not respect or look at him as what his title says that he is, a creator, a COO, a founder of this game that, of course, so many play across the world. He's not respected or liked. And we see his interactions with the people in the office. The woman at the front desk barely acknowledges his hello in the morning. The woman in the coffee room, hey, would you mind making me a coffee? I'm sorry, I'm pressed for time. I'm not doing that for you. And he trips over a bag as he's on his way to the office, and the people are snickering at him and things like that. You see the parallels, right? In the reality, he's a loser. He's made fun of. He's teased. He's picked on despite being what he is. And in the game, he's God. He's Captain Kirk. He's the leader and commander of this ship. And we watch as Jesse Plemons, you watch the parallels of his life. And then, of course, what Kristen Milioti would walk into his office, and she kind of introduces herself, and she's the first one of anyone in this office to show him an ounce or iota of respect and dignity. And she's like, oh, I'm such a big fan of the game. You're a legend in my mind. I'm just such a big fan. It's so nice to meet you. And he glows up like, oh my God, it's nice to meet you too. Nice to meet another civil human that actually has respect for me. This is amazing. She's the new girl in the office. And basically what you find out is Jesse Plemons is not really playing fair. Now, we see his everyday life. We see his everyday after work life where he's playing in the virtual world. But what he does do is he takes the DNA of these people that he works with and somehow uses this device to transfer them into the game. It's their real selves stay on the outside, but a part of their dignity or a part of their soul or a part of their person goes into the game to interact with him, where he is God and he is Captain Kirk. And he goes and takes Kristen Milioti's coffee cup and he kind of uploads her to the server. And the episode kind of plays out from there. We watch as Kristen Milioti gets to the ship and she's like, what the hell's going on? This is scary. Why are we doing this? Why are we listening to this crazy man? And they're like, well, we have to obey. Like, he's God in here. He can destroy us. He can turn us into these horrible monsters that we don't want to be. He can turn us into anything. He's taken away our organs, right? He takes away their sex organs, so they don't have dicks or vaginas. They don't have anything like that. They're just completely, what he creates in his image, and you cannot disobey or disabide because he will destroy you or turn you into a creature. Great stuff. I really love the concept. To me, I love anything where it's a video game simulation and it's these people trying to get out of it. Basically, that's kind of the whole tale and plot here. But I think whereas this show, I know it always gets mentioned, and okay, it has what it has to say about technology and what it has to say about machines, and sometimes that can be construed as rather cold, in my opinion. Right? They look at this show and they say, oh, it doesn't have enough to say about anything else. I disagree. I think to me, what makes Black Mirror great, the more and more I've watched it, is the fact of what it has to say about humanity as a human race, as people that live in and day out lives and interactions and things like that. And it's not just this character, but as characters will go on throughout this season of TV show. I mean, I just was blown away by how good they did this lead character played by Jesse Plemons. Of course, the parallels of his life, like I said, of feeling disrespected and feeling disliked and not honored, of course, and then he can live his fantasy world where he's awful to these people. He's misogynistic. He puts his feet up on some of these guys if they don't obey him. He tortures them just out of his own sick pleasure because he's doing in the fantasy world what he cannot do in the reality. And I don't know, I thought that was just such a great character study, a great character look into a man that became drunk with power, right? A man that maybe wasn't bad to start with, but because and once he got the leverage, all hell broke loose. And that's what happens sometimes, right? If you're disrespected and not liked and all these things for all your life, and then you all of a sudden have the chance to make it all change by a snap of the finger or a point of the hand, I mean, you're of course going to abuse said power because you don't know how to use something you never had. And that's what Jesse Plemons' character does. And he does a great job in this. I think he's unbelievable. Kristen Milioti is awesome. I love Kristen Milioti in the episode as the one that tries to rally the troops against this guy, and they're coming up with all these plans. What can we do? How can we beat this guy? How can we get out of here and back into reality? And it's a lot of basically a chess game between Jesse Plemons and Kristen Milioti. Can she outplay him? Can she outthink him? Can she be 3 steps ahead while Jesse Plemons is, of course, the one that controls the world they're in? Really good stuff. I don't know. I thought this was fantastic. From a visual style, it's great. It somewhat looks like an episode of Star Trek, but at the same time, it also feels like Galaxy Quest with some of the other effects that they do. It's very, very colorful and pretty to look at as a whole. I like the whole outer space world they create. There is some humor in it. I don't think the humor was needed all as much as it is. If I had one knock, maybe it would have lightened up on the humor a bit. But at the same time, I think one of the best things of the episode is the disturbing dark element of our lead heel. And there's a great example of that. Now, one of the characters is the co-founder of this video game that he works with in the office. And he tells the story of how he was the first one taken into the game. And he tells the story of how he's always mistreated this guy in the real world. And basically what Jesse Plemons does is he gets the DNA of the guy's son. He gets it through a lollipop of the son that he brought into the office, and he gets the DNA. He brings the son into the game. And he basically makes the guy watch him shoot out his son into space. And the guy's crying, no, he's banging on the window. Stop, don't fucking do this. And he's crying his eyes out. And Jesse Plemons just watching with a cold stare, just enjoying every single minute of it. And it's like, that to me was so cruel and so dark. And the way that the guy told the story, I thought was so heartfelt. My heart in that moment felt so bad for that guy. I was like, oh my God, I hope he gets his comeuppance, the son of a bitch. And I don't know, I thought the whole thing played out really fun. It feels like it's parodying Star Trek and Star Wars a little bit, right? Because towards the end, they go through an asteroid field to get away. It made me think of The Empire Strikes Back. You're not actually going into an asteroid field. I popped for that. I was like, oh man, that's a pretty cool little nod to Star Wars. Again, this show, you can look at this episode and it takes from 4 crucial things. It takes from Star Trek. It takes from Star Wars. It also takes from 2 of my favorite Twilight Zones. It's a Good Life with little Anthony Fremont, right? Who doesn't remember little Anthony Fremont sending people to the cornfield and I wished him dead, daddy, and turning guy into the Jack in the Box. Here's a kid with the powers to banish you to a cornfield or create you and turn you into a creature. And that's what Jesse Plemons is doing. He'll banish you or he'll turn you into a monster. Very similar parallel there. And at the same time, another zone that I thought it was similar to was this one called The Little People, with a guy who was by the name of Joe Morose. In real life, his name was Joe Morose. And of course, Claude Atkins acts beside him. And it's these two astronauts. They're on a crash landed planet. And Joe Morose finds this whole race of small people, like no bigger than ants. And he basically enslaves them. He makes them create a statue in his image. He makes them make him a god, if you will. And I think there's a lot of that in this episode too. Here's a guy that is the little man, is the second in command, is not respected on the outside, but in his fantasy world where he calls the shots and he shoots the guns and he creates whatever the hell it is that he wants, he will ultimately decide our fates. And I thought that was a really good way of paying homage to yesteryear and homage to things that came before it, but still having that classic fresh Black Mirror spin on it with some really great acting along the way. I thought this was great. Probably my favorite episode of the whole season. I thought this was just a really good kickoff. To my knowledge, there is a sequel in season 7 when I get there. Can't wait for that. Very excited for that, because I would love to see more of these characters. And I thought, I don't know, everything about it was really, really well done from top to bottom. I loved USS Callister. And for me and the rating thing, I would totally make this one come in as an S. Like I adored this one. I thought everything about it was really, really well done, from style, from colors, from filmmaking standpoint. There's a lot of great usage of camera angles to make you feel uneasy when some of the characters are on the ship, and to make you feel that you're obviously out of control and not the one in charge. Obviously, it's Jesse Plemons. The way even Plemons delivers his lines, really good stuff. Really, I just thought Jesse nailed this role. And it's funny, I really like him as an actor. He's one of those guys that he's in so much, but he's one that doesn't seem to get a lot of clout or a lot of noise. I mean, to me, his claim to fame is he's married to Kirsten Dunst, who, funny enough, is in the episode. If you look closely, you gotta have 4 eyes and you gotta be looking for it. But you can look closely. There's a few shots of him walking through the office. You'll see Kirsten Dunst in the office, and I fucking spotted her. I went, oh shit, MJ and I gonna have a hell of a time. Love that. I just love that. I don't know. There's something about this particular episode and Jesse Plemons' performance in said episode that I really enjoyed and I thought was just money. So I like this one a lot. I'm curious what you'll have to say, though, because this was definitely my favorite of the season. Black Mirror has Borer. Okay. Chugging a Poland Spring. Yeah, man. I got what do I got? I got a Pure Life. I'm a pure lifer. God damn it. I'm a pure lifer. Cheers. Only some Pure Life on Grande's Graveyard. R.I.P. TK Carter, the Thing, Punky Brewster. Yes, R.I.P. TK Carter, awesome actor. Really was saddened to hear about his passing. Black Mirror has borrowed a lot of stories from 90s Outer Limits. Me personally, I see a lot of everything, and I think that's a big reason why this show is so good. It does borrow, but it also at the same time, like I said, has so much to say about humanity. And I think that's a big thing what makes me like Black Mirror. A lot of people point to, imagine the technology and this and that and the other. But I think the way it writes people, right? Charlie Brooker, the way he writes people couldn't be more spot on. Like, this is how people are. People would become drunk with power. People would eventually say, fuck it, we don't have a way out. Let's just abide and play his little game. And then, of course, there will always be the one person to rebel and say, no, we're not playing his game. We're not playing his system. We're going to get out of here. And she basically, captains the ship away from him, which I thought was good. We got Ryan Hanley in the house. What's up, Graveyard? What's up, Ryan? Hope your dentist appointment went well. Picard, yes. Callister would be my top 5 Black Mirror episodes list. Black Museum is my fave of the season. Oh, when we get the Black Museum is great. I mean, there was a few of these that I thought were great, like S tier episodes. And totally Black Museum is one of them. I thought that was an amazing episode. There was an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where this crew member with low self-esteem is obsessed with the totally. That theme is timeless, no matter if it's told 20 years from now or 20 years from obviously then. I think that this is a timeless type of story. but the Black Mirror spin on it was really, really well done. Like, I love the whole thing where he's going to get the pizza, right? He pauses the game, and they're all like, "Scramble, scramble!" They're trying to get around it while he pauses the game and go answer the door for pizza. It's something so anticlimactic, right? Going to your door and getting a pizza from the pizza man. But Black Mirror makes it so entertaining and energetic and suspenseful. It's like, oh my god, what's going to happen? The only Black Mirror could do that. Down is up is in the house. Hey, Grande, take your Knicks hat. Hey, buddy, you got to represent NYC. We got to represent the NYK, if you will. So hope all is well with you, buddy. Always repping my some sort of colors. I got a lot of flack. The Panthers jersey I wore last week. People were like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I don't know. I like Ted McMillan. Sue me. He's on my fantasy team, or at least he was. The season's over. I agree with the Twilight Zone comparisons. Oh, hell yeah, man. Twilight Zone for life. I'm a Twilight Zone truther my entire life. And Black Mirror is really good, though. I really do. I can't tell you enough how good Black Mirror is, in my opinion. And another episode that we're going to discuss next, of course, season 4, episode 2. This one was a big surprise, and I didn't know who directed it until the final credit came up. And the first words out of my mouth were, "That makes complete sense." And the episode I'm talking about is season 4, episode 2. I'm talking about Archangel. And this is, of course, directed by Jodie Foster. Brief plot synopsis. After nearly losing her daughter, a mother invests in a new technology that allows her to keep track of her. Yes, Archangel. Now, I was surprised when I learned that Jodie Foster was the director at the end of this episode. And not that, obviously, I actually like a lot of Jodie's work as a filmmaker. Obviously, she's a fucking A-list actress, one of the best actresses that's ever lived. But when I think Jodie Foster, I always do remember some of the directorial credits to her career. And she's made some good movies, but my brain immediately jumps to Tales from the Dark Side. And the episode she did, Do Not Open This Box. That was one of her first directed things in her entire career. A few years later, she wins the Best Actress at the Academy Awards, and she's off to the races from there. But to me, what the reason I said this made so much sense when the thing came to a close and I saw that Jodie was the one that directed this is because I felt that the character in this, the lead character in this, really paralleled Jodie and her entire rise to stardom and fame. And I know it may be a stretch to some people, but hear me out. Jodie Foster started working by the time I believe she was 3 or 4, was working somewhere, some way, some shape, some form in the business, was doing voiceover work at the rightful age of 10, was in Taxi Driver in her teens, and so on and so forth. Her entire life, it felt like Jodie Foster was one that was under a microscope because everyone could see the talent that was there, the potential that was there, and ultimately captured over time as she grew into a superstar. That's Jodie. I mean, you could look at it as a writer, you could look at it as an actor, a producer, like everything about her to me just screams talent and just ultimate talent in and of that. And the fact that she directed this to me made perfect fucking sense because it tells the story of a little girl that is, of course, microanalyzed and under the microphone and of course magnifying glass her entire life. And the episode opens up with her mother, who's played by Rosemary DeWitt, giving birth to this child, and she's in pain, she's in labor, and they're holding her hand and stuff like that. And there's a moment where they take the baby away and she doesn't hear it crying and she starts to scream, what's wrong with the baby? Please tell me everything's okay. There's like a long pause and you're worried, oh my god, is this going to be a miscarriage? Like, is this stillborn? Like, what's happening? And they turn around, they're like, your baby's okay, thank God. And she holds the baby. And it fast forward a few years down the road, and this episode does that a lot. Fast forward a few years down the road, she's taking the kid to the park. And the kid is playing in the park. And of course, Rosemary DeWitt starts to talk to these people that are just kind of stopped by the park as well. And she loses sight of the kid. Oh my God, I lost my daughter. She's running around screaming for people to help. Eventually finds the kid, but gets so scared by the incident that she decides, hey, I have to do something about this. Like, I almost lost this girl at childbirth. I almost lost this girl at 4 years old in the park. I mean, how many strikes can I get before I lose this girl forever, right? And that's her whole mentality as a parent. And so she enlists in Black Mirror knowledge, I guess, and technology where she can have a device inserted into the child's body that can help her not only track the kid throughout life, no matter where she is. She could always have a track on her, but she can also see through the eyes of her daughter on an iPad. She can watch her daughter's everyday life, everything her daughter does, whether it be private, right, going to the bathroom, seeing a boy, having lunch, whatever, all the way to the stuff that's out in the public, right? Walking home, saying hello, eating dinner together right there at the table. She microanalyzes and magnifies this girl's entire existence. And we watch it go throughout the years, right? It starts when she's a baby and it ultimately crescendos when the kid is in high school. And we go throughout the years to see her, kind of grow up and learn things. And to me, this was the age old tale of you can't be too overprotective as a parent. You have to draw boundaries. There has to be trust. There has to be some sort of mutual feeling between parent and child. And now, listen, I'm sure there's some of you that maybe have kids out there that will go, what the hell do you know about parenting? I'll be honest with you, I don't know the first thing about it. I've not been a parent. To my knowledge, I don't have any fucking kids. But, as a watcher, as a whatever, I don't make wine, but can I taste it? Can I judge it? I don't know. I made a film, but can I judge it? Can I take whatever? You know what I mean? That's kind of the way I felt with this episode. It was trying to tell the story of, listen, this is a mother that feared losing this kid, right? Almost lost her a couple of times, was in things that she probably shouldn't, right? She had her fingers in the cookie jar, didn't have trust for her child, didn't have trust for her to not just wander away and get lost forever. So therefore, she inserts herself in so much of the kid's life. And what she does, I thought, was so interesting. For example, any cursing, the kid can't hear it. She can filter that. You can't hear cursing. You can't see evil, right? If somebody's dying in front of you or somebody's fighting in front of you or somebody's bleeding, you can't see it. It's all blurry to the kid. The kid can't see. It's all filtered. I thought that was a great idea, to filter the cussing and the closed captioning and all that stuff. I was like, that is fucking really good idea to kind of put a sense around all that stuff. I was like, bravo, that's a really cool concept. And of course, Rosemary DeWitt goes too far with it, right? Finally, this kid is meeting a boy and talking to him, and it seems like they're getting along, and they finally have sex. And Rosemary DeWitt sees it on the iPad and just has this horrible reaction to it. No, my daughter's not ready. She's not ready yet. And she kind of confronts the kid that does it and says, stay the fuck away from her. I saw what you did. I'll tell them that you're older than her and that she's underage. You watch what the fuck you say. And if she comes to you, tell her that you're not interested anymore. And she basically tells the guy off until the daughter finds out everything that's going on. Mom, you're stepping too far. And I mean, I don't know. I thought this was really good, from a dramatical standpoint, right? This is very much more a melodramatic episode of Black Mirror, but at the same time, I thought it had so much importance to say. It had so much to say, right? Again, you have to have that amount of trust for your child. And if you don't, they'll eventually rebel against you. If you don't, they'll eventually resent and hate you. And the very thing that you've been trying to keep and console and coddle your whole life will eventually smack you right in the face with the iPad you've been watching her whole life and day in and day out society through. And that's eventually what happens. And I thought, man, it was really well told. Now I do have some minor complaints. I don't like Rosemary DeWitt as an actress. I've seen her in a few things. I just never like her. She's in Smile 2 as the mom. And I thought she sucked in that too. I'm just not a Rosemary DeWitt fan. She's to the point where in this, I know she's supposed to be overprotective, annoying mom. And she's fine as that, but I don't. At the same time, I was good when finally when the kid beats the hell out of her with the iPad. Spoiler alert! I was good. Screw this lady. What a fucking weirdo. I get it. Again, I get it. And I guess maybe if you're a parent that almost loses a child, maybe it's different for you. Maybe that type of person can have a different experience of this episode than I did and see a different moral and a different meaning, a different story, and the whole 9 yards in it. I'm just not there. I totally see the kid's side of, listen, you fucked up everything. You put filters on things that I probably should have learned a long, long time ago. Instead, they're finally being introduced to me, and this whole world feels like I'm living on a different planet, in a different parallel world, if you will. But I thought that was really good. I don't know, the child actresses over the years, they used several different actors to play the kid. Thought they all did a really good job. I thought Jodie did a great job directing this. It really doesn't feel horror. Like I said, it feels much more melodramatic, but I think it also feels very personal. And again, that's why I see so much of Jodie in it, because I think Jodie, while she didn't live a life quite like this, right, with an overbearing mother, I mean, Jodie Foster went through a lot of shit too. I mean, to be honest, if you're shoving a camera in my face from the minute I'm 3 years old all the way to the end of my life, I mean, I can't imagine the person that would turn me into. I can't imagine the person I'd be sitting here and right now. I have the option to turn this camera on every night and go live, or every Thursday night and go live on Grande's Graveyard. I have that option. Celebrities, they don't have that option. You and I can go to Walmart and not get a second look. If fucking Jodie Foster goes, everybody and their mother's going to stop and say, "Hey, it's Jodie Foster. Get a picture with her." It's a life that you and I can't really relate to. It's a life that only they know. And I totally think that a lot of that is in this too, where instead of the paparazzi, instead of the press, instead of the people, it's your overbearing mommy that can't let you go because she's almost lost you more than once. I thought that was really good. I don't know. I really like this one. I don't think it's an S by any means. I think Rosemary DeWitt really fucking brings it down. I wish they had a better actress as the mom, and I think I would have loved this one. But I think overall, it's really solid Black Mirror. I would say either a B plus or an A minus for me. Man, I'm on the fence. I'm going to come in with an A minus, I think. I think an A minus is fair for this one. It's really well done overall. I think Archangel is the age-old tale of the horrors of parenting and the horrors of overparenting at that. And listen, I get it. It's tough, but I think sometimes the same thing is that you have to have that trust factor there. And if it's not, no parent-child relationship is ever going to work the way that you want. And this episode is totally proof of that. She lost the very thing that she worked her entire life not to lose, right? What happens when you play not to lose? Odds are you fucking lost. And that's eventually what happens to Rosemary DeWitt. Very, very poetic, very well done. Jodie Foster also directed Little Man Tate. Yeah, she's a very good filmmaker. Little Girl Who Drives Down the Lane. Yeah, no, Jodie did a lot. That's the thing. I always had nothing but respect for her. And I telling you, I popped when I saw that I was like, totally. I was like, that fucking, it makes so much sense. Because I don't know if a director for hire would have really did as good of a job. Like I said, it feels so personal. It feels like I've been through it. I've been there type of thing. And I don't know, I thought that was a really cool thing about it. I was like, man, this is fucking really well done. So I don't know, nothing but respect for Jodie Foster. I think Jodie Foster's a legend, and I think she did a really good job directing this episode of TV. An A minus for me. I think it's a strong A minus or a very strong, or I guess strong A minus, strong B plus, somewhere in that ballpark. But I'm going to round up on this one. I'm going to go to the A minus for Archangel, which I thought was a pretty good one. But of course, coming up next is this one I didn't really like at all. I don't know. Maybe it'll be controversial. I don't know, but I hated this next one, really, to be honest with you. This is definitely amongst the weakest Black Mirror for me. I don't know if it's the weakest. I actually think there's an even worse one in the season. So, no, it's not the weakest. But, man, I didn't like this one at all. This is season 4, episode 3. I'm talking about Crocodile. Yes, Crocodile. Brief plot synopsis. An insurance agent investigates a minor traffic incident using a device that manifests people's memories, but one of her witnesses has something to hide. Yes, Crocodile. Now, I will start off by saying the visual aesthetic of this episode is the best thing in it. If you love to study film, if you are a photographer, if you're into visuals, watch this episode and put it on mute. The landscapes, I believe this was shot in Iceland. Extremely impressive. I mean, the cinematographer, is a successful motherfucker. It is just a gorgeously shot episode of TV from top to bottom. We see a ton of just beautiful landscape, the cities, just gorgeous, really, really well looking episode. And I will say that is the best thing in it. The story, the moral, the execution, the acting, I mean, I just wasn't with it at all, to be perfectly honest. It very much, and this will sound crazy, it felt like a weaker / lesser I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is bizarre because it's so much better made than a movie like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it feels like it's taking the same cores and themes and honestly sort of botching them here. It tells the story of these two people. They're going back from a show, and they're driving around the road, and they're talking with one another, and they accidentally hit and kill somebody. They get out of the car. Oh, my God. They're freaking out. The man says to the woman, hey, I'll go to jail for the rest of my life. They'll kill me in prison. I can't afford to, say this happened. I have to walk away. We have to hit and we have to run. And she's all guilty and sad about it. No, 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 we should stay. We should be moral, whatever. And he's like, no way, I'm not getting killed in prison over this. I'm drunk. I was driving. You're with this with me. Like, we got to get the fuck out of Dodge. And so the two of them get in the car and they drive off. 15 years later is the next point where we take up the episode, and they have created this machine that is used in police departments and now insurance companies that can trace people and their last memories if you rewind the dial. So, for example, you get hooked up to this thing and you can rewind the dial and you could see the incident happen through the person's point of view, right? I could watch it on a TV, right? Let's say I'm driving a bicycle and I get hit by a car and you see it, they could bring you in and they could watch the whole thing through your eyes and go, oh my God, this is exactly what happened. They're always the saying, there's your story, their story, and the truth somewhere in the middle. That's, a big age old thing that people say. But through this technology, you can watch and see the point of view of what exactly happened. Okay, holy shit, this guy really did get run over. Let's fucking figure this out and arrest the son of a bitch that hit him with the car. And that's what happens here. We watch this woman who's an insurance agent, and she's going through this very small case of a man that was, trying to deliver a pizza and got run over by a little bit of a car. And, it goes through all the people that viewed this incident. And of course, one of them is our person from the beginning, the woman that hit and ran 15 years ago with the guy. And we watch as the two of them kind of meet up, and he's telling her, listen, I feel so guilty about this. It's eating my life up. Some days I wish I had went to the police and told them. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to tell them, but I won't vilify you. I won't tell them that you were there with me. And then she freaks out and is like, listen, no, we've lived this lie for 15 years. We're going to die with this lie. And the two of them are kind of fighting. And then basically it comes to the crescendo. She murders him. And then she witnesses this guy get run over outside. And she's like, oh, my God, because the insurance agent's trying to find her to see her point of view of the accident. So, of course, in looking for her point of view for one accident, the woman in the lead, she's trying to hide the accident that happened 15 years ago from this insurance woman. It's the whole age-old tale of trying to hide your past and the horrors of guilt that you feel, right? Maybe, oh, maybe we should have turned ourselves in. Maybe, oh, maybe we shouldn't have hit and ran. And the guilt that stemmed from this horror has eaten our lives up, and we have not lived, right? We've survived, we haven't lived. And that's the whole mentality here in psychology. Again, age old, and it's been done good, but I feel like it's been done so fucking better than it's been done in this. Like, again, the I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, the whole thing about I Know What You Did Last Summer I liked. Granted, the finale doesn't work. But the whole idea of you watch these young, pretty, smiling faces on the beach and ambition, and I'm going to do this for a living. I'm going to do that for a living. I'm going to do things. I'm going to accomplish things. I'm going to help people. Only to have this one incident of driving over this man ruin all of their aspirations and ambitions. And then when they come back that 1 year later, when they find out that that person knows what they did last summer, you see that ultimate crescendo of how their lives have been destroyed by the guilt of this one night, this one incident and accident that they decided to run away from. That to me is horror done right. This, I get it. It's very cat and mouse. It's very, the insurance lady is looking for one thing, but the woman in the lead is hiding another. Like, I get that, but at the same time, it's rather bleak in its delivery. It's rather dull in as well. Like, there's no oomph to this episode. Like, it doesn't have much energy. It has a beautiful scope and aesthetic to it, but I don't think the acting was particularly good either. I didn't like any of these actors, to be perfectly honest with you. Let's see. Kieran Sonia Swar as the insurance agent. Very like vanilla character, just one-dimensional. I'm an insurance agent. I work with my family. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Very one note, in 1 year, out the other. The lead, Andrea Riseborough, I'm hiding this. I'm scared. She's one emotion throughout the whole thing. And I also felt that this one went for cheap shock value, which is shocking to me in a show as prestigious as Black Mirror, a show that airs on Netflix every time a new season premieres. I felt this one went for the cheapest shock value, to the point where I was like, what the fuck? Like, it felt like I was watching an Italian cannibal movie with the shock value in this. I was like, this just feels like shock value for shock's sake. And I kind of laughed at it. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, it doesn't work at all. And what is the shock value I mean? Okay. So I'll walk you through how it plays out. This woman is running from the insurance woman. The insurance woman finally tracks her down. Oh, no, miss. I got it. I got to do it. It's the law. Fine, scan me. She's scanning her and accidentally goes back and she sees the original accident. Oh my God. I got to get the fuck out of here. She's saying everything is fine. And she gets in the car and, this woman attacks her and ties her up and all this stuff. And, the two of them the two of them are sitting in this goddamn chair and she's reviewing the footage and she's like, listen, I won't tell anything. I won't say anything. And she fucking murders her. And she goes, did you tell anybody of what happened, or who you were coming to see? And she goes, no. So she puts the machine on her and she sees that she told the father and the baby was in the room, right? These were eyewitnesses. So this lady drives to the other woman's house, the insurance woman's house, and murders her husband and the baby. And there's a twist, guys. She murdered the baby, but the baby was blind, so the baby didn't see anything. Whoa, she unnecessarily murdered a baby. Aren't we fucking shocked? I thought that was so cheap for Black Mirror. I was like, Black Mirror, you're better than that. You gotta be kidding me. That's something Umberto Lindsay would have did. That's something that fucking Sergio Martino would have did in Mountain of the Cannibal God. In my movie, we'll have cannibals, Ursula Andress naked, and we will have pig fucking. Like, it just felt so out of left field for Black Mirror. I was sitting there like, really? Like, she unnecessarily murdered an infant? Like, that's supposed to be a big shock of the episode? And I laughed. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, that is so unlike what Black Mirror usually does. And I think in a bad way in and of that. And the episode ends, I'm at my child's rehearsal or recital after I murdered an infant. And, I killed everybody in the house, but they had a gerbil in the house that saw the whole fucking thing. So they wipe the gerbil's memory and see that she fucking did it. And the police are starting to enter the recital as the episode ends. They caught her. She spoke and you can't run from your guilt. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. This is not a good episode of Black Mirror at all. The concept's okay. The scenery is gorgeous. Made me want to go to Iceland tomorrow. I would quit my job and go to Iceland tomorrow morning. But other than fucking that, this fucking sucks. Like, I don't like this episode at all. Like, I love the first episode of the season. I thought the Jodie Foster episode was a really, really good melodrama episode. This one is one of Black Mirror's weakest for me. Like, overall, like, didn't like the tone of it. Didn't like the acting in it. It was rather bleak. Shock value for shock value's sake. Like, just to me, it does everything that the Black Mirror normally wouldn't do. Like, Black Mirror is usually clever and smart and crazy where it has to be, but not overtly crazy. Whereas this, I'm watching it and I'm like, man, they've dropped the ball on this one. I don't know. I don't like this one at all. Where would I rank this though? I mean, I'm at like a D pretty much. Yeah, I'm kind of come in at a D. I think so far. And now, granted, we're about 4. I mean, there's only 7 seasons, and this is halfway through season 4. This is the weakest episode for me thus far. However, it will be topped as one that I consider the very first failure of the show, and that's coming up, but we'll get there. This sounds like a reversal of Minority Report. I don't know. I didn't think of it that way, to be perfectly honest. We got Tom in the house. Good to see you, Tom. It's been a while. Hi, John and Chad. I watched the Crocodile episode in December, and until you did the plot synopsis, I didn't remember anything about it. Very forgettable. Not a great episode. I'm with you wholeheartedly. I just didn't like this one. And again, not even the worst of the season. We'll get there, but I just thought of this season, which I think otherwise had some really good ones. I don't know. This was just weak. Like, everything about it was weak. Other than, again, I would say I give it the pass just for the look and the cinematography. I would say that stuff's really good. I never rewatched this one. It's so boring. It is rather boring. Like, who gives a shit? Like to me, like, again, you're telling a story that's been told to fucking death. And again, we've seen Black Mirror do that. But put your Black Mirror spin on. Give me that classic, like, this is why Black Mirror does it this way. And that doesn't happen here. It just doesn't happen. It's just the same shit, different day with shock value added in, where I literally was like, that is in poor taste, actually, to me, considering what show this is, right? If this is Tales from the Crypt, all right. Tales from the Dark Side, all right. If this is the Milkman Cometh episode of Tales from the Dark Side, okay, like, I get it. Like, the Milkman fucked the guy's wife. Like, that's one show. But this is another show, and I just didn't think it went, man. I don't know. Crocodile's a weak one. But I'll tell you what's not a weak one is the episode we're going to talk about next. Probably my second favorite of the season. This is, of course, season 4, episode 4, I'm talking about Hang the DJ. Yes, Hang the DJ. Brief plot synopsis. Paired by a dating program that puts an expiration date on all relationships, Frank and Amy soon begin to question the system's logic. Now, I thought this was amazing. I know I saw a lot of people with mixed reviews on this one. And to be perfectly honest, I could see why. I saw a lot of reviews I read for this. This is a lesser San Junipero from season 3. I love San Junipero. I liked this even more. I thought that was pretty hard to do because I thought San Junipero was an S tier episode. I thought it was a great Black Mirror episode. And for what it's worth, I thought it was the best episode of season 3 in particular. But this one I thought was fucking great. Like, I really liked this. And of course, this stars 2 really good lead actors. It was a much change up needed from Crocodile, which I thought was very bland and vanilla throughout. This has Georgina Campbell as Amy and Joe Cole as Frank. And they're these 2 people that take, place in this kind of simulated dating society where you get a dating app and you match with a person, but it's all at random. And then you're supposed to meet up at a restaurant. Your entrees and appetizers and meals are all predetermined. And the whole idea is you have a time limit to date this person and you have to go by what the app says. If the app says you're only supposed to be together for a few hours, you spend the few hours and you go your separate ways until you're paired up with somebody else. And again, love the look of this kind of world. It looks very like you're almost in a dollhouse in a way, like the society. All the houses are log cabins with numbers on them. The restaurants are very, very generic and very, like, you could tell it feels like very much like a simulation in a way. I don't know how else to explain that, but boy meets girl, and they immediately hit it off. And you see that instant spark between the 2 of them as they sit down for dinner and they're joking and they're laughing. And you can see that it's like, this is good. This is going well. Like a blind date can't go much better than this. Until they make the ultimate decision. Hey, let's see what our expiration date is. And they look, and the expiration is 12 hours. They have 12 hours together until they are mandatory to be set apart. And they don't ever tell you in the episode, I guess at the beginning, what will happen if you were to stay longer than the time. But you know that there are going to be consequences, right? They want you to stay the allotted time and then move on from there. And of course, the 2 of them are doing so well together, and it's only 12 hours that they have with one another. And they're like, that's a bummer. Like, let's eat fast. Let's go back to the apartment. And you get the idea that they're going to have sex, and they don't. He's like, you know what? Like, I'm having a good time with you. I would like to have sex with you, but like, since we only have this time, like, let's talk. And they sit down and they lay and they kind of look, and they have a very intimate night without being intimate, if that makes any sense to anybody. But to me, you could see the spark there. And they part their separate ways. And then their next partners, she gets a guy that she has to stay with for 9 months, and he gets a woman he has to stay with for a year. And the 2 of them have to kind of stick with people that at first they seem, oh, hey, you're attractive. Oh, hey, you're attractive. But you see that same spark, that same interest, and that same mutual, desire is not there, despite her guy being a much better looking, sophisticated, suave looking guy. And even the other woman that he goes with, she's just not into it. You could tell she's not into it the minute they start talking. She just doesn't like him. There's no interest there for her. But they have to stay because that's what the system says. And throughout the episode, they continue to run into each other, the 2 people from the beginning, right? They meet at a party again, and you can see that the chemistry is still there. They meet here again, there again. And to me, the whole episode is a big commentary on you have to make your own decisions in life. You have to lead your own way in life. And you can't just do what others or machines or feeling, whatever. You and your partner, you and your significant other are the 2 that have to feel the way about each other, that have to continuously, obviously, either end or continue a relationship. And that to me is what, again, why I like the show so much. And like I mentioned before, how a show that is always mentioned about technology and things like that, and how cold machines are. Yet at the same time, I think it's a show that writes the human condition in such a warm way. I felt the dialogue between these 2 were so spot on. Like, so when a date's going well, this is how it goes. Like, I was like, this is just spot on how it goes. And when a date's going poorly, you see the other side of that coin, how Charlie Brooker writes that. I thought that was really great. Like, I really enjoyed all of this stuff from a dialogue standpoint. And basically what you get is a really nice love story. I bought it. I thought it was a good love story where the 2 of them finally, after dating these mopes, and she's getting all these people for 36 hours who she's just having sex with and leaving, they finally match again. and they're like, oh my God, this is great. Like, we're going to have sex this time because the spark's there. They do. And they make a pact not to look at the expiration. We're not going to look. You're not going to look, and I'm not going to look. And we're just going to go from there. And they're enjoying themselves, having a great time. And it seems like they're destined for each other until the man decides, hey, I have to look. Curiosity will kill the cat. And basically, once he looks, he sees it says 5 years, but because he looked, he broke the bond, and the years start going down until it's like hours. And it's the age-old story again of this guy should have just gone with his gut. He should have gone with the feeling, gone with the spark, and gone with what he was enjoying rather than worrying about what a machine had to say for him, what a machine thought it was going to last and mandate. I love that. I thought that was so, because there are people like that. There are people that will let superstition and will let a higher power tell them what to do when in reality you're the boss of your own life and your own destiny. And I think there's a lot to be said about that in this episode. I love the machine continuously tells him, he goes, why is the clock going down? Why would we go from 5 years to 5 minutes? It doesn't make sense. And he's arguing with the machine, and the machine gives him the one generic sentence that nobody wants to hear when they're getting broken up with. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. He keeps repeating that to him. And that's even the tagline of the episode. Everything happens for a reason. And that to me was brilliant, because that's any breakup I've ever gone through. That's what you hear. You hear the everything happens for a reason. You'll find somebody else. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Oh, it is what it is. All these generic things that you don't want to hear that are said to people when they are at their lowest, right? Or when they are left by somebody. To do that to this guy that ultimately just wanted to see out of curiosity, and he cost himself everything. And the girl hears about it. She says, well, how could you do this? Why would you do this? What the fuck? And, she kind of storms off away from him, and he feels that he's lost it and everything. And of course they both start dating again. And then, it kind of comes around to this whole crescendo of they are meant to be, and they run away, right? They go against the mandate and they run away, and you see they kind of escape this simulation. And then the episode ends where they're in reality, they're in real life, and they meet, and they're a big match because of all these simulations that they've done, and everything happens for a reason. They meet and they're playing Hang the DJ in the bar. I thought that was sweet. I don't know. Call me crazy. Call me whatever you want to call me. I get it was, some people might say it's sugar that would rot the teeth out of your mouth, but I thought this was really well done overall. And I thought that it was so spot on as far as how relationships work and how you feel when you're going through them, right? And I think it's a big commentary on life. You might spend 9 months with a fucking loser, but because they're suave and sophisticated and blah, 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 you look past their insecurities, right? There's a great scene where the character Georgina's playing, she can't stand that after they have sex, he kind of exhales this big, like he lets out, his idiosyncrasies, the stuff that makes us, right? To quote Rob Williams in Good Will Hunting, that's the good stuff, the stuff that makes us. That she can't stand it. She's annoyed by it, but she's stuck with him. I have to stay with this guy as a mandate. It's this is what I have to do. And yeah, he's better looking than the guy I was with before, but she doesn't have that same chemistry and click with this guy as she did the last. And I like that, again, that's real life. Like, I know people that'll leave other people for people they this so-and-so is so successful and they're so good looking. And then it falls flat on its face because there's no spark there. And then you go crawling back to the person who's either moved on or moved away or whatever. I mean, it's so, I think, accurate to how dating in society goes. Like, I think this is so on the nose and so well done. And again, I know most people like San Junipero better. I would probably put this over San Junipero. Like, San Junipero is great, and I love the jumping through the time eras and the whole twist at the end. I thought the twist at the end of that is way better than this. Like, the twist here is the very ending is like, all right, like happily ever after. Okay, we move on. But like as a journey, I like this one better. I do. Like, I thought the two actors in the lead, they had great chemistry, totally believable, really, really good direction and writing. And I don't know, I think the idea was fantastic. Like, this is to me Black Mirror 101. Like, when I think Black Mirror, this is an episode I will think of in the future. When I watch more of the show, I definitely think Hang the DJ is a prime example of why I really enjoy Black Mirror. Again, talking about machines and technology in the future, but at the same time, like I said, talking about the warmth of human relationships and the warmth of desire and the warmth of romance and love. And again, I know it sounds crazy and cheesy, but that's kind of how I felt about this one. Oh geez, I even forgot it was yeah, exactly. It's forgettable. It's just forgettable. It was, if this was Tales from the Crypt, it would have been 25 minutes and the baby would return from the grave again. Exactly. See, Tom, no, like exactly what I'm trying to say. Like that, it just would have been out there, totally out there, But like Black Mirror never really did that. And then once it did, I was like, no. I guess maybe some people would probably like that. Like, hey, you're doing something different, but it felt so cheap in that one. I don't know, but I really like this one. Hang the DJ. Susie's in the house. Susan Chaos. Hello, Graveyard Army. Hello, Susan. Hope all is well with you. Hang the DJ, man. It's close to an S. I gotta say, it's probably an S. I really, really liked Hang the DJ. I thought it was just really good. So good that I rewatched it. I actually rewatched it today on my lunch. I was like, I'm rewatching this, man. It was really, really enjoyable. Definitely probably my second favorite episode of the season. And like, look at this list right here, though, before we go on to the last two episodes. Like, how many S's? That's crazy. We have 7 episodes that are in the S tier halfway through season 4 of a show. Like that just doesn't happen. And then you have 5 A's and then everything else. I mean, you have 3 B's, a C, and a D. So you have 5 episodes that are B or lower, and then literally 5 total in the A column, and then literally 7 in the S column. So 12 out of 17 episodes are an A or higher, in my opinion. That type of quality is quality over quantity, in my opinion. Like, yeah, I know these seasons aren't too long. It's not Twilight Zone days of 36 episodes per season or even 37 by the time you got to season 3 of The Zone. But I think it's quality over quantity. It's good that there's not 20 episodes per season, because once you get something that's not as quality, it's just not going to stand out. And I think that's the smartest thing they do. They take their time with the show. They really flesh things out with the show. They get very good performers, right? Because listen, once Netflix bought the show in season 3, you open the floodgates to, we can get whoever the fuck we want. And now all these celebrities that are A-listers are going to see this show and want to be a part of it. You get more and more great acting talent as this thing goes on, to the point where this past season you had Paul Giamatti in an episode. I thought he was great in it. Really, really good, show as quality. But I mean, if there's any worse setup to this, I don't know. We get to my least favorite episode thus far. Granted, I have 3 seasons to go, so it could be topped, and I've not seen a majority of the rest of these. So I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm going through these as pretty much as fresh as can be. But if I had to say right now, if you asked me as of January the 15th, 2026, John Grande, what is the worst Black Mirror episode that you have watched? It is none other than this one. Season 4, episode 5. I'm talking about Metalhead. Yes, Metalhead. A brief plot synopsis. In a post-apocalyptic landscape of the Scottish moors, a woman attempts to survive the land full of dogs. And yes, they are terriers, aka Terminator terriers. They're basically Terminator robot dogs is the main villain in this. This is, to date, the shortest Black Mirror episode, which is pretty interesting. And man, I thought it was the worst. I thought it was the worst by a long shot. I have so many problems with this. It's not even funny. Directed by David Slade, who immediately I was like, holy shit, the guy that did Hard Candy? Like, I love Hard Candy. At the same time, the guy did 30 Days and Nights, which I'm iffy on. Same time, did a lot of music videos. Same time, he's done a lot of work I don't like. And there's a big reason for that. I don't like David Slade as a visual storyteller. I don't like his movies. I don't like his shows in general. Hard Candy's a big exception. But I don't like the look of his pictures. They all look very overglossed and very oversaturated. And this episode makes the bold choice to be artsy. We're not going to have color in our episode. We're black and white. So it's an overglossed, oversaturated black and white episode that's 40 minutes long. And all it is basically a chase scene between a woman and a fucking Terminator terrier throughout Scotland. That's the episode. And like, again, if you could sell tension, if you could make this thing look visually interesting, if you could give me a reason as to why this chase is going on, these are things that could possibly salvage an otherwise rotten episode. But to me, once we get those things, it makes it an even worse episode, which is actually an unbelievable feat. I'll walk you through the episode because it's really not much. Three jackasses are driving along. Here come Bucky fucking Parker driving down the I-95 with a severed head in one hand and his sandwich in the other. If anybody can tell me what movie that's from, I love you. It just celebrated an anniversary. Without that being said, though, three dumbasses driving in a fucking Jeep go down to this factory. We're going to rob the factory. We're trying to save somebody back at home that's dying. That's all the context we get. Somebody's dying back home. So you're thinking, okay, maybe they're going to get supplies, maybe some medicine, maybe something that will save this person's life. Okay, I'm with you. I'm the fourth asshole in the Jeep. I'm in the back fucking seat with Skeet. We're me and Skeet and the core four back in this fucking seat as we're driving throughout Scotland in overglossed, oversaturated fucking black and white Scotland, directed by David Slade. Maybe a vampire will come out and have no personality, but that's neither here nor fucking there. Let's go into this fucking factory and there's security here. Everybody watch out. There's fucking security in here. Oh shit. Okay. We don't see anything happen. This fucking guy picks out a bet. He goes, "Oh, I got it." He pulls the box and there's a Terminator robot killer dog behind it that shoots out these shrapnel that if it hits you, it puts a tracker in you, and this guy gets fucking obliterated. So does the other guy, and the woman makes a run for it, but she's got a tracking device in her. It's like shrapnel tracking in her body. So she makes a run for it. She hides in a tree. She hides in a house. She hides in the bathroom. This thing is stopping at nothing to try to fucking kill her. And that's the entire episode until finally she battles the fucking thing at around the 30-minute mark, blows it away, but in its death, it blows up and shrapnel goes into her jugular vein. And she knows that, more of these Terminator terriers are going to come and get and kill her. And thus she submits this final message. We tried. We love you. I'm not going to make it. And you see she takes her own life in the bathroom. How does the episode end? We fucking do a terrible pan shot of overhead crane shot of this fucking thing going over the warehouse, and we see what was in the box. It was a fucking teddy bear. They were trying to get a teddy bear for a child that was deathly ill back home in terminal with some sort of illness that we're never told of. All of this fucking happened because you were a dumbass and trying to rob a teddy bear from a fucking warehouse. The three of your dumbasses risked your life for a fucking stuffed animal, and I'm supposed to fucking get off my fucking couch and shit all over myself. I'm supposed to get up and get a bunch of fucking huggies because I can't contain my bowel movements before I get to the goddamn bathroom in time. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be, oh, great. Oh, how clever are we? Charlie, I'll give you a round of applause. How genius is this that these dumbass motherfuckers would fucking risk their lives for something you could get at a fucking Build-A-Bear for $19.95, or something you could stuff yourself with fucking love and make say things and put bow ties on and certain outfits and things. You got to be fucking kidding me. Oh, well, Grande, I'll have you know that the American heart and the will and comfort of a child, go fuck yourself. You got to be fucking kidding me. Hold the kid's fucking hand if he's that fucking scared. You got to go fucking risk your life for a teddy? Really? Are you fucking kidding me? And then I have to watch a 40-minute overly glossed, shitty, saturated fucking episode of a woman fighting a fucking robot dog in Scotland? What the hell? Of all the episodes, finally the one you do in Scotland, I don't get to see color in Scotland. I just get to see Scotland as this gray fucking shithole. That's what I get to see. Oh, great. If I was Scottish, I'd be fucking pissed. This is what you do in my fucking country, in my fucking episode? You have this woman be attacked by a fucking robot dog? You'd be kidding me. It's like Cujo, but if it fucking sucked, and if Cujo, instead of being a Saint Bernard, was a fucking Terminator. I hated this one. Oh shit, I hated this. This was horrible. Like, even Crocodile, as bad as fucking Crocodile is, at least Crocodile had beautiful landscapes, and I got to see the countryside, and I smiled that I was like, oh man, I'd love to go there someday. At least I can even give you the pass based on that. And I thought the concept was interesting, even though I didn't think it was executed well. Who cares about the concept? Now, I understand the concept was there's some, I guess, firm in Boston that are doing dogs like this, right? They're making these dogs that could possibly become weapons, could possibly become police detectives. I don't fucking know. I don't know if they're going to be Crypto, the fucking dog, flying around the fucking place in a red cape. I don't fucking know. It don't matter to Jesus. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. You're going to take the trigger and pull it up your ass until it goes click. That's what I felt like. I want to fucking cut a Jesus promo on this from Big Lebowski. I don't fucking care. That's kind of how I felt here. But I just don't. I mean, I just thought this sucked. Like I just really thought this sucked. And I'm not ignorant enough to not understand the ending. I'm sure there are people who probably go, "Oh, he didn't get it. He totally didn't get the ending, right? Where it's supposed to be morality, right? Like these people were so good, they risked their lives to get a dying child something to hold on to and have faith." I get it. Please don't think I'm ignorant. I'm not. I just think it's fucking silly at the same time. Like it's just rather silly. Like I get your point, but your point is rather fucking silly. Like I don't. That's just kind of how I feel about it. Maybe I'm very fucking jaded. I don't know. Maybe I am, but I hated this. Doctor Howdy 6664. Hello, my handsome chestnut hair boy. Hello to all the Graveyard fam as well. Welcome, Will. Also, the best thing about this episode was its short runtime. Not my least favorite episode of the series. No spoilers. It's in a later series, but a werewolf is involved. Oh boy. Okay, so I haven't seen seasons 5 and 6, and I've only seen a couple episodes of season 7. So I'm sure I'll get there, and I'm dreading it, but because Tom and me generally agree. Although I'm trying to think, what is your least favorite crypt, Tom? Because I forget off the top of my head. Please do remind me if you're still here. Because I know some of my least favorite crypts you ended up really liking, and I was like, holy shit! Like I forget what your least favorite was. So please do share that with me. But yeah, so far, again as of seasons 1 through 4, this is the bottom. This is totally the bottom. I think they thought they were being clever with the black and white because the dogs see in muted color. Wow. Okay, so maybe I am ignorant. I didn't even think of that, to be perfectly honest. I just thought it was a visual choice, and yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I don't know. Like to me, it's like I got it, but I just fucking didn't like it. All right, Grande, love your rants, but don't be picking on Cujo. No, I'm not picking on Cujo. I'm saying this is Cujo if Cujo sucked. I like Cujo. Cujo is a million times better than this, in my opinion. I loved The Birth. You hated it. Okay, well, I know there's plenty. I hated the Curiosity Kills with Margot Kidder. That was abysmal, and you were telling me that you liked that one. That I remember that specifically, but granted, that's 7 seasons. I even liked I loved the Brad Pitt one. I love that, and you were like, that's one of the worst ones. Maybe that was your least favorite. I forget. I feel terrible because that literally made my top 10. I loved the one with Brad Pitt. That was great. You weren't ignorant at all. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, listen, like, again, I can acknowledge that maybe there's some people that saw this at the end and went, oh, wow, that's really deep. Like, I really like that. I like the morality of that. I just didn't. I was just like, fuck this. Like, get the fuck out of here. Nothing better than rants all on the Graveyard. Yeah, I don't know, this one pissed me off. I was listening from the other room, didn't hear what you said at all. Okay, well, I put Cujo is great, just to clarify, but one that's not good at all, one that is really not good at all, is Metalhead, and it is the worst failure, in my opinion, in the history of Black Mirror. It took 4 seasons. It took till episode 5 of the 4th season, but we finally hit a failure here in Black Mirror season 4, and it is Metalhead. However, we end strong with the season finale. As I read this, I forgot that one. You were correct. Yes, Brad Pitt, least favorite. Wow, that's so crazy. What a parallel. And I had it on my top 10. I don't remember where I put on my top 10, but it was on my top 10. And I was like, I watched that one. I was like, why does everybody hate this? Tom Holland directing, Brad Pitt's great in it. And I don't know. You're the Iceman. I loved that fucking one, but totally understand that. I've never seen Cujo, LOL. Oh, I highly recommend it. As far as killer dog cinema goes, right? You have Man Bites Dog, or no, not Man Bites Dog. Man's Best Friend with Lance Henriksen. Man Bites Dog is that's a completely different experience, right? I'm talking about the Ali Sheedy, Lance Henriksen one, or Devil Dog, Hound of Hell, which is about basically like The Omen, but if it was a dog, it's fucking great. There's a lot of great killer dog movies, but Cujo probably is the creme de la creme. Hey, Grande, sorry about the Texans defense. Lone Star Horror's in the house. Jason himself, hey, man. It happens, bro. It fucking happens. It is what it is. We had a good run. I'm proud of my team. I'm very sad the coach stepped down, but it fucking happens, bro. Bro, yeah, man. I meant to say man's best friend. Man Bites Dog is a lot fucking different cinema than man's best friend. But dog in the title, so I don't know. Maybe I'm dyslexic. I have no idea. Cujo's a classic movie, Susan. It was based on Stephen King's novel. Yeah, no, Cujo is a great one. I highly recommend to anybody who hasn't seen that. But without further ado, I want to get into this last episode of the season because this one, wow, I was super impressed by this episode. The season 4, episode number 6. I'm talking about Black Museum. Yes, a woman enters the Black Museum where the proprietor tells his stories relating to the artifacts. Now, one of these short stories was actually based on a short story written by Penn Jillette, of all people, which I thought was pretty cool. Penn Jillette has something to do with a Black Mirror episode. I thought that was kind of interesting. But I loved the setup to this. And I love television in general that goes about this particular storytelling. And what do I mean by that? Now, the storytelling has been done before in things. It's even been done in Black Mirror, right? If you remember the White Christmas episode in season 2 with John Hamm and all the people in that episode, it's very much 3 short stories in one long episode. That's the format. And TV's been doing that throughout the past 20 years or so. The first time I saw something like that was on a show called House. I love House with Hugh Laurie and Robert Sean Leonard. Great show. Omar Epps, which is great. Really love House. There's a great episode of House that it's called 3 Stories. And it's basically he is lecturing a class and telling them 3 stories that all kind of intersect and by the end all tie in to become one story about something completely unrelated to all 3. That type of format as an episode is so fun if you're a filmmaker. It's so fun if you're an editor. It's so fun if you can kind of pace this thing right and get that fast, witty dialogue and jump from modern day to present day to this story to that story. It's so fun for an artist, for a director, for a creator to play with these elements. And to me, House did it perfect. And so does Black Mirror. And Black Mirror Black Museum is a prime example of how that is done so well. We watch this woman as she's driving along the countryside in a beautiful classic car. I thought it was just gorgeous car. I'm not a car expert. Maybe somebody else could tell me what type of car that is, but I watched that. I was like, God damn it, I want to drive that car to work tomorrow morning. But I would be so scared too, because I'd be like, oh my God, like even the biggest scratch or dent or something on this car it would just ruin the fun. But anyway, she gets to this gas station. She's charging up her car, and there's a little side attraction that says it's a Black museum. So she goes, okay, this is interesting. She kind of walks in, and she meets the star of this episode to me, and a guy that really was robbed of an Emmy nomination, Douglas Hodge as Rollo Haynes, as this guy who's the proprietor and the lead owner of this Black museum. And he welcomes her in. And, oh, no electronic devices go in there, ma'am. And he kind of walks her throughout some of the pre-museum, and he's showing her all these artifacts. And if you watch closely, they're all Easter eggs to other Black Mirror episodes. So this one's very meta. We see the iPad from the Archangel one. We see Waldo from the Waldo episode. We see, the ticket from 1 million or 15 million merits. We see like all these, it's basically Easter eggs, the museum of Black Mirror. It's a Black Mirror museum. And it's funny because I believe this was taken from something that Orson Welles used to do. He used to have where they would do like real crime, and they would call it this. They would call it Black Museum or Black Theater or something like that. And it was really, really cool concept to bring to Black Mirror, something so old school, and then to bring it into this. And basically what we have is 3 stories that are all about the artifacts that are in this museum. And the first story was fantastic. It's about this doctor who is having a hard time keeping his patients alive. His patients are dying left and right. And of course, Mr. Hodge, he goes up to him and says, hey, we've created this thing that can possibly change your practice. It could save lives. It can change the world. And he's, oh, well, what is it? He goes, well, it's a hairnet. He's like, a hairnet? What are you talking about? He goes, this is a hairnet, and you could put it on your patients and you can feel what they're feeling, right? And if you're a good enough doctor, you'll know by the way they're feeling how to diagnose them, how to treat them, how to save their lives. And that's what he eventually does. It's becoming a huge, success in the hospital. He's saving lives left and right after losing people left and right. And he's on cloud 9. But there's a catch, and whatever the person in the hairnet feels, he can also feel. So like I said, you could feel illness, but at the same time, how can I experiment with that? I know. What if I fucked my wife while she's wearing the hairnet? So he abuses that. He puts the hairnet on his wife and they have like this amazing sex. And he's feeling not only the male orgasm that he knows and loves, but he's also feeling an orgasm that a woman would have. So it's a double orgasm, double gender, double the fun, and he can't get enough of it until one fateful day where he's abusing this thing so much and he goes to work and of course he meets this person that's dying of a heart attack and he puts the hairnet on and it backfires. Now he needs to feel pain, to feel sensationalism, to feel those endorphins release and to enjoy himself the way that he was. And it basically becomes a man that becomes addicted to mutilating himself and cutting himself. And at times he's trying to have sex with his wife and he's like, you got to beat the shit out of me. And she's like, this is too fucking crazy for me. Like, I'm out of here. So she leaves and it basically becomes a story of this guy that, okay, yeah, too much of a good thing. Eventually it's like any other addiction, right? Okay. You start with pot. All right, pot's not really doing it for me anymore. Well, I'm going to jump to cocaine. Okay, you're going to do cocaine. All right, cocaine's not doing it for me anymore. Well, I'll jump to heroin. Okay, we're doing heroin. Like, you eventually run out of fucking options and you die. And that's basically how this thing plays out. And that's the story of the hairnet. And then we move on to the next story, which is, I thought was great too. We watch this young couple meet at a party and he's like, oh, hey, I got a cupcake for you. And then they fuck and you see they got married, they had a child, and they seem happy as can be. One day, mommy, daddy, and the little boy, they're out at the park and mommy says, hey, I'm going to take a picture of you guys. And she steps back to take a picture. Boom, gets fucking ran over by a van. And they're like, oh my God. And she's in a coma. She's dying. She's never going to wake up. And the husband's beside himself. Who else would show up? But the proprietor, of course, Douglas Hodge. He's, hey, we got this machine. We got this offer of a lifetime, if you will. And what we can do is we could take your wife's consciousness and we could put it into your head. You'll hear her. Anytime you hug your son, she'll feel hugging your son. And I liked that whole, he sells it to him and he's like, I don't know about that. She'll be here all the time when I take a piss, when I take a shit, when I want to have sex with somebody else, when I'm being intimate with somebody else, right? You know, it'd be great for the kid, but what about me? What about my sanity? What about my everyday in and out life? And he doesn't want to do it, but the wife does. And of course they do it and all chaos breaks loose and she becomes overzealous and jealous of everything that this guy does, saying hi to the neighbors is too much. It'd be like having a fucking divorced person in your head all the time. And then they even try to go to the extent of, what if we put her on pause, right? Just like divorcee, you know, visitation rights. Every other weekend we'll turn the bitch back on. And he can't live with it. He can't live like that. He's trying to move on with his life. He's met a woman that he's fallen in love with. And then they come up with the idea of, because she's been such a nag, why don't we take her consciousness and put it into a teddy bear? And again, a smarter use of a fucking teddy bear, I might, Matt. Or I'm sorry, it's not a teddy bear. It's a teddy monkey, or I guess a stuffed monkey. That's what it is in the episode. Sorry. Again, better use of a stuffed animal, period. They put her consciousness in there and she has to watch, like, and she can't move, she can't do anything, and that story kind of wraps up. And then the final story, which I thought was heartbreaking, sad, and I would say a better way to push the limits and go for shock in a show as smart, clever, and sophisticated as something like Black Mirror. I'll go that far, right? But I bashed Crocodile for being shock value for shock value. I will tell you there's shock value here that is purposeful and makes sense and was smart and intelligent to do. And I will tell you how. We watched this man who's on death row, who has apparently murdered a weather woman. That weird choice. I don't know why a weather woman would get fucking murdered, but she got fucking murdered. She could see the fucking clouds and the cumulonimbus and the fucking 40% chance of thunder, lightning, and rain, but she could not see her own death in that beautiful crystal ball. No. Fucking lady gets killed, and this man is accused of it, and he's sent to prison. It's heavily implied that he was innocent and did not do it. But because of the justice system, because of I think it's very highly implied of racism, and because of the system totally being against this guy and saying, listen, no, you did it. We're going to send you to the chair. They're giving this guy a death sentence. And basically, the proprietor shows up there too and says, listen, I'm going to give you a once-in-a-lifetime offer. I want your digital soul. And the guy's like, my digital soul? What the fuck are you talking about? That's nothing. And he goes, I want your digital soul, and we'll make sure that your family's taken care of, provided for money-wise. We'll take care of them. Don't worry about that. He goes, all I want you to do is promise me your digital soul. if worse comes to worse. And so worse does come to worse. The guy says, fuck it. He goes, I'll sell my soul. It's nothing. It's nothing. And there's a great scene where the wife and the guy on death row had this scene talking, and she's like, why would you do that? You can't sell your soul. It's your soul. And he goes, it's nothing. Like, I would do anything to save my family. And like, you can see this guy is a good guy. I don't think he was a killer. It's very much, again, it's never proven. It's never like, oh, he 100% innocent, but it's heavily implied a guy didn't fucking do it. So he basically takes the bullet for his family, goes to the electric chair. Very much reminded me of Shocker. If anyone's seen Wes Craven's Shocker, very much reminded me of that. Orange jumpsuit, everything but no more Mr. Nice Guy. Reminded me a lot of fucking Horace Pinker. I laughed my ass off at that. They put him in the chair. He dies, but his digital soul comes out. Not unlike Horace Pinker when he's jumping through body to body and TV screen to TV channel and all that stuff. Love that idea. I thought that was, again, kind of reminiscent of Shocker, but in a way done in a much more fucking clever and probably well-made way. As much as I like Shocker, this is a lot better. And the guy wakes up and he's in a cell. And he's in the museum, and he's the main attraction of the Black Museum as we forward to modern day. And he's in this cell, and you see he's lost himself. He gets fried by people that visit every day. They get these keychains with a hologram of him screaming in agony. And if you pull the lever for 15 seconds, he'll die. So you can only do for 10. And they're frying this guy, all the way to the point where his brain cells just kind of dissipate, and he's no longer like the lights are on, but no one's home anymore. And he's lost the soul and the man that he used to be once upon a time. So there's that element of it as well. And I thought that was really, really fucking cruel. And then, of course, the woman that's visiting there, you learn that she's the guy's daughter, and that there's been protests of what they've been doing in this museum. And you learn that shock value here. The shock value is their museum is running on hard times. Nobody wants to visit anymore because they know and have gotten word of what this guy is doing, the proprietor, and how he's been torturing this person. And the only money they're making is on these rich racist sadists that come in and for the sick pleasure of burning the guy alive and watching it, are getting off on that and are paying this guy hand over fisting thousands of dollars to this guy. To me, that's a much better usage of shock value in your Black Mirror episode. I think it's so on the nose, it's so on the head, it's so meaningful, right? Because then again, the next question would go, well, how are they keeping this place open if no one's going? Oh, I know, there's some rich fucking sadist fucking racist pricks out there that are gonna come and fucking fry this guy up for a sick laugh. And I truly do believe those people are out there. And I thought that was a much better usage of it than just, oh, I killed your kid, I killed your bait. Like, what? Like, oh God, that was such a fucking terrible, but this was really well done. And then, of course, the whole, just desserts, right? This evil guy, this proprietor who's been telling us the stories from the beginning of the episode, he gets what's coming to him. She kind of makes them switch spots, and she fries him for 15 seconds to let her father's soul go. And then the keychain comes out, and it's the proprietor. She burns the place down and kind of drives away. And we also see that her mother was in her head the whole time. That might have not have needed to be in there, but they did that anyway. Like, the mother's been coaching her and been a part of her conscience. It was a way to intertwine. I will say the only thing that keeps me from putting this over like a White Christmas episode or even the other two episodes of the season, I think those flow together a little bit better. I would say that the White Christmas episode, that one seamlessly fucking flows in and out. Whereas this one, it feels like a lot had to be done to tie these in, right? How do we tie the first story with the third story? Oh my God, and the second story and the third. Okay, wait a minute. All three have to tie in, and then we have to wrap this up. It felt very much more like they had to write their way into the convenience. Whereas with White Christmas, it just flowed so perfectly. It was like you go through each of these stories and they're seamlessly going together. That's just my thing. But acting was great. The lead actress in this, she did get nominated for a Primetime Emmy, Letitia Wright. She does great. I will say that I think that Douglas Hodge was snubbed. I thought he was the best thing in it. Like, his devilishness was so, he reminded me a lot of the actor that plays the Wishmaster. Like something about him, just that the way he was enjoying himself and giving these people's these once in a lifetime offers when you know they're going to go horribly wrong. It felt very Wishmaster to me. Like I'll promise you the world for your soul, and then obviously if you've seen any of the Wishmaster movies, you know that never ends well for the person that sells their soul. But again, a lot of the acting in this was really, really good. I thought Babs, excuse my if I don't pronounce this name right, Babs Olasunmoken as Clayton. He played it great. The guy that's in the cell suffering. I thought that was a really, really good performance, right? This guy that put his family above himself and ultimately was fried out of his mind, out of his soul, out of everything, because he just thought it was all a bunch of hocus pocus, really. I thought that was sad, but I thought he did a really good job in the role. And aesthetically, visually, thought it was directed perfectly. I really liked the scope. This could have been a movie. Like totally, I mean, it's an hour and 9 minutes. So it comes in at a sexy 69-minute runtime. You totally could have got 20 more minutes out of this and made this a feature-length movie. Like, I love this. And not to be forgotten is the season 4 movie that they made for Black Mirror that unfortunately I can't review because it's actually not on Netflix anymore. And I'll come up with the name of it right here. Bandersnatch. I believe that was technically supposed to be a part of the 4th season. It came out in 2018, so it was just after the 4th season. I've not seen that. I wasn't able to review that because they took it off Netflix. So if I'm able to watch that, I'll review it during when we do season 5, because season 5 is thankfully only 3 episodes long. So I figured it would work better there than here. But man, I thought this was great. I totally think Black Museum was an S tier episode of Black Mirror, and I want to just make sure I get the Black Mirror. I accidentally X'd out that tab. Tier maker. Yeah, no, this one is totally going to come in at an S for me. Like, I really liked Black Museum a lot. You had three S tier episodes in the season, but unfortunately, it finally hit some ones that were a little bit duddy. But Black Mirror, Black Museum, I think, is a really good one. Oops, I accidentally turned off my camera. Let's share the screen back. Sorry, this is what happens when you have too many tabs open. I accidentally X'd out the tab I was trying to show. So there it is. There's Black Museum. In the S tier spot there. So 3 episodes get added to the S tier. We had 1 in the A tier, and then we had 2 right at the bottom, D and F. So it's weird. We had some really, really high highs in the season, but ultimately some low lows. It is unfortunate, but let's see what y'all have to say. Horse Pinker, great catch with the digital soul / TV screen. Yeah, totally. The shocker value. Yes, better, much better shocker value. I think he was innocent. Black Museum was totally. I think he was innocent too. It's very much implied. Like, I actually wish they would have just said it, because it was weird. Like, the whole time they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, can you just fucking say it? Like, what the fuck? What is the problem? Like, can't we just know if he's innocent or not? I thought that was weird. They left it up to you, but like, it's heavily implied he didn't fucking do anything. And like, also you see, at least I see that I would think somebody to do something like that, kill somebody that's innocent. I don't think they would be so selfless. And that's why I think they're trying to say about his character. Like, when they give him the option, listen, we'll take care of your family financially. And he's like, yes, absolutely. Like, I will do whatever that takes. And like, to me, that it's in that moment where, his character, he's a really good guy. And unfortunately, he just doesn't believe in what he's signing himself over to. Like, he goes so much. He goes, that ain't nothing. Like, he doesn't think of anything of it. And then of course, once it happens, he's like, oh shit. Like, you weren't fucking kidding. I thought that was fucking pretty cool. But yeah, no, also the scene with him and the wife, right? The wife goes to visit him and he doesn't recognize her, and she just fucking cries, and you hear that she took her own life with pills and alcohol, because she couldn't stand to see the love of her life and what he's become. Right now, he's this digital soul that gets fried every day by these tourists, and he doesn't even recognize anyone anymore. It's really, really sad. Like, to me, this one has a little bit of everything. It's great horror, great psychology, great concepts, great execution of said concepts, a great pace and editing style. Just really good, man. Like, to me, like I said, when Black Mirror is clicking, there's few shows better than Black Mirror, and Black Museum is a prime example of that. Yeah, the one that had multiple endings, it was interesting. The interactive thing had a decent Black Mirror feel. Yeah, I have to see that. I have not seen that, to be fair. I think it's technically was a part of this season, but it was a feature-length movie at the same time, so I didn't see that. I figured I'd save that for season 5 because, like I said, season 5 is so short that I'm going to have a hard time doing a whole episode. I may have to do season 5 and 6, and maybe I'll throw the movie in there as well because these are short. I mean, It's crazy. Through 4 seasons, you're almost at the end of the show. Like there's 3 more seasons, but there's hardly any more episodes. Like we've been through what? 4 seasons of how many episodes? I'm actually curious to know what the fucking number is. So let's go Black Mirror tier list. Go here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 plus 5, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 out of like 34 episodes. So we've covered over half of them already, and we're through 4. It's just crazy. There's just really not many Black Mirrors. So that's why we've kind of stretched these out. And cool enough, Dr. Howdy's going to come on and join me in March. We're going to do Monsters. We're going to start Monsters season reviews. Obviously, there's only 3 seasons of that, but we're going to throw another TV show into the mix, and Monsters is going to be the next one. So I don't know. I've really enjoyed doing these Black Mirror episodes. I think they're fun. I think it's a really, really good modern day show. And yeah, 3 S's out of 6 episodes in a week to me is a good week of show prep, considering some of the shit that I watch for this show. I really know. I really like season 4. I don't know. Is this my favorite season? I don't know. I mean, you have 4 really good episodes and 2 fucking duds. So I don't know if it is my favorite season. I guess season 2 might still be my favorite because I still really, I think that Be Right Back is still the best episode, although this season does have a couple episodes that give it a run for its money. Be Right Back still my favorite, though. Definitely really like that one. Brief preview for next week's Friday's Graveyard. Next week, it is Jalos in January. Very excited for that, where I will be reviewing Dario Argento's Sleepless. I'll be reviewing Lucio Fulci's One on Top of the Other, and I will be reviewing Luigi Cosi. Luigi Cosi! Luigi, you son of a bitch, I love you. Luigi Cosi's The Killer Must Kill Again, which is going to be a first-time watch. So I'm very much looking forward to Jalos in January. And then we're wrapping up the month of January with J-Horror Month, where it's going to be J-Horror in January with the Tomie franchise retrospective. Very much looking forward to that. And then after next week's episode, I will drop the February schedule. I'll be in contact with all of you with that. John's going to be coming on. Mateo's going to be coming on. A lot of plans for February and March. So very excited to share those with you at that time. Awesome show as always. Only thank you, Miss C. I hope your eyes feel better. And once again, happy birthday. Monsters, fuck yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah, looking forward to it too. I wanted to do it back in December. And I initially was going to take a week off, and then I had to miss the show 1 week, and I pushed everything back, and December just ended up being a mess. So that's why Monsters got pushed back. But yeah, that was intended for the end of 2025, and unfortunately not going to happen till March. But hopefully you have some high hopes for that episode. I think it'll be great, and it'll be fun to discuss with Will. Monsters will be fun. I'm guessing we'll have some difference of opinions in some of those episodes. Well, that's the fun of it, right? I mean, it wouldn't be fun if we agreed on everything, but I will just say in advance, the match game is the best episode of Monsters. And also, I love Pool Sharks. Pool Sharks is fucking great. So many good Pillow Talk. There's a lot of good Monsters episodes that I will really looking forward to talking about with you guys. And I've enjoyed this, obviously, as always. Have a good night, everyone. Excited for Jalo next week. Thank you so much, John. I hope all is well. And everybody, to you guys, have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. I know some parts of the country it's snowing, so stay safe in the snow. Tomorrow night, I'm going to see Phenomena on the big screen. Looking very much forward to that. And the new Park Chan-wook film, No Other Choice, or No Other Way. I think it's No Other Choice, with, of course, the headman from Squid Game in it, and of course, 3 streams and all these things. So very excited doing a Korean, Italian cinema night tomorrow night, double bill after work. And everybody have a safe, happy, healthy weekend. Let me know if you watch the replay of this, what your thoughts are on these episodes of Black Mirror Season 4. If you want to let me know your rankings, please do. Later Graveyard, later Hanley. And we will catch you next time, only on the Graveyard. Too sweet, peace. Good night, everybody. Cheers.